Shabbos. As you can see, some of us are still in the Purim mood. So here is a Purim story. This Purim was different than every other Purim before because Rav Dov Ber Schneerson, the son of the Baal HaTanya, the second Lubavitcher Rebbe, was sent by his father to a small town in Russia. It was called Oshra, a different town, a different city than he had ever been in before, and that's where he got to hear the Megillah on Purim. He went to shul just like everybody else, even though he was a very special man. He was there, he was sent on a job by his father, and in this shul he heard a nice man, the same man who leaned the Megillah every year in this shul, leaned it on that year also. Now this shul had a special minhag that after the reading of the Megillah, after Kriyas Megillah on Purim night, they would pass around a tray. They would pass around like a pushka, almost like a tzedakah box or a plate, and they would collect gifts or tips that people in the shul would give to the person who read the Megillah, to the Baal Koreh. As a way of expressing their thanks and gratitude, everybody would put on a few coins to give a little Purim gift to the one who read the Megillah in the shul. And some people put on a few coins, some people put on 1 coin, 3 coins, 2 coins. The Rav Dov Ber put on, when the tray passed him, he took out of his pocket 5 rubles. Now a ruble was a very valuable coin. A ruble was a very valuable piece of currency. The entire shul's money put together didn't even equal 1 ruble. And Rav Dov Ber Schneerson put on the tray 5 rubles. The tzibur, the people around, were stunned. Wow! How does this man have 5 rubles in his pocket? And why is he giving it to the Baal Koreh? That is so generous. And even the Baal Koreh himself, when he saw the gift that Rav Dov Ber had given to him, he said, thank you so much. That is so kind and generous, but that's too much. I'm not deserve. I appreciate a little gift, a few coins. 5 rubles. I certainly don't deserve that. And Rav Dov Ber looked at it and said, you deserve even more than that. I just heard you tell the most marvelous story, and I had never heard it before in my life. And the Hasidim, the people were standing around wondering, the great Rav Dov Ber Schneerson, the son of the Baal HaTanya, had never heard the Megillah in his life. And that's the end of the story. What do you think that means, that Rav Dov Ber Schneerson had never heard the story of the Megillah in his life? Of course he had heard the story of the Megillah. You think he didn't go to school, he didn't go to Cheder, his father didn't teach him, his mother didn't teach him? I'm sure he had heard the story of Mordechai and Esther and Haman. He had heard the Purim story. He had heard the Megillah probably tens of times, dozens of times, maybe hundreds of times. What does it mean that he never heard the story in his life? Maybe it means that he heard it in a different way. He was in a new town, and there was a new Baal Koreh, it was a new shul. You can hear the same story at one point in your life, or in one place in the world, and then hear the same exact story in another time in your life, or in another place, and you hear it in a completely different or completely new way. That's one interpretation of the story. Some say that he was just trying to find an excuse to be very generous. Because on Purim, we like to give as much as we possibly can to help other people. Of course he had heard this story. He was just saying, I never even heard this story before. Here, take my 5 rubles, even though of course he had heard it before. Some say that he had heard the story many times before, but he had always heard it from his father and his Rebbe in a particular way of teaching it. And his father would teach it to him in a way that was very deep and Kabbalistic, based on the teachings of the Rebbeim and the Hasidim. And now he heard the story in a whole new way, like Rav Ganima said. In a simple town, by a simple Jew, just telling the amazing story of Esther and her bravery, of Mordechai and his wisdom, of the Jewish people and their tshuva. And all of a sudden he heard the story in its simple, basic form, in its pure and beautiful story. And he had never even noticed all of that before. So whatever message you take and whatever interpretation you have of this story, there are so many important lessons for us this Purim. We should be generous on Purim and all year round to always give, even to people that we don't know so well or even to people that we just met for the first time. Give as much as we can. And every time we learn something from the Torah, whether it's the Megillah, whether it's Parsha, whether it's a Mishnah, whether it's a story, whether it's Navi, we should always try to learn it, not just in the same way that we learned it before, not just as a repeat or review, but always to hear it with fresh ears, to hear it in a fresh way, and to always learn new lessons, like Rav Dov Ber on his special Purim. Good Shabbos, everyone!
Shabbos!
Good Shabbos!
Shabbos!